Horns of the Beast. As befitting their savage nature, the Bone-Splitter Warclans fashion themselves in the image of the great beast, while the Wurrgog prophets act as the guiding spirit that controls the greater entity. Mobs of hollering boys form its mighty jaws, encircling and clamping down upon the Orruk's prey. The Wurrgog prophets are the spiritual and war leaders of the Bone-Splitters, and it is incredibly rare, although not entirely unheard of, for any war clan to fight without one of these enigmatic figures guiding them. When battle is joined, the prophets stand in the eye of the storm of the frenzied Bone-Splitters. His boys and their boars are roaring typhoons that rage around him and take shape according to his mystic will. With a stamp of his feet and a wave of his staff, he divides his boys into mobs depending on the aspect of Gorka Morka they best represent, be it cunning, brutality, or sheer unhinged ferocity. These seemingly unintelligible commands are obeyed instinctively and immediately by the surrounding Bone-Splitter warriors. Guided by the Wa spirits, each mob naturally gravitates towards others of its kind in the battlefield to form a ruck. To call the rucks formations is perhaps to oversell the Bone-Splitters' capacity for military organization, but they do function with surprising levels of cohesion, much like the manner in which a pack of gurish ice wolves hunt as an uncanny instinctual group. So do the rucks work together to bring down prey many times their size. When multiple rucks gather together, the result is an army that operates as if it were a single megalithic beast made up of 1,000 whooping Orruks. The boys that form the head of the beast are known as the Koprucks. They can range in size from a few mobs right up to sprawling hordes of many hundreds, depending on the size of the war clan. War docs and moor boys, those Orruks with the strongest connection to the Wa, fight the center of the Kopruk. The Wurrgog prophet himself is typically found among them, protected by a wall of painted flesh, while he summons the primal foot stomp of Gorka Morka to squish his enemies. Often fighting alongside the Koprucks are the Tiefrucks, carrying a huge monster-killing spear known as a Gorktoof. They form the vicious fangs of the beast. Those who fight in the Tiefruck are usually the most feral and ferocious of the Bone-Splitters. Those who froth at the mouth at the mere thought of impaling their prey with a big length of wood. These Orruks also have absolutely no sense of self-preservation, and they will happily charge into the thickest section of the enemy line, ignoring the hails of bullets and bolts raining down upon them. The beast jaw is made up of the Gobrucks. These warriors are divided into two main groups, one focused on close combat known as the Brutal Ruck, and one with large number of bow-wielding lads known as the Cunnin' Ruck. Just like Gork and Mork, these two halves work together to create havoc in battle, one repeatedly smashing the enemy in the face, while the other fills them full of arrows and bashes them from behind. Most Ironjaws scorn the use of ranged weapons because there's little joy to be had flinging bits of wood at some distant target. For Bone-Splitters, however, the bow is a powerful and ubiquitous weapon. There are some war clans who field nothing but hordes of arrow boys, whose breathtaking inaccuracy hardly matters when they can fill the skies with thick clouds of stone-tipped missiles. Finally, there are the mounted Snaggarucks, which act as the horns of the beast, led by the maniac Weird Knob, and made up of savage, boar-boy maniacs. They use their high mobility to attack from an unexpected quarter before diving deep into the enemy lines, goring ragged holes in the enemy army with their tough stone blades and reckless savagery. From the rocky bluff, Jukjor could see his lads surge towards the prey of the Gigadroth, snapping maws. The blue-coated humans stood fast in rigid squares, puffs of grey smoke raising from their fire sticks as whooping boarboys circled them. "Gorka morka kaborka," the war-gabbed prophet roared, thrusting out his squig stick and hopping on one foot. At this command, Toe-Crush's brutal ruck bounded forward. Jagged clumps of painted Orruk warriors, eyes ablaze with green madness. The cunning rucks rushed in from behind, firing hails of arrows that rained down on the human ranks. Gukjor gave a toothy grin as piercing screams split the air. The bluecoats were fixed between the Gigadroth's gnashing teeth, though Gukjor saw many humans tumble to the ground, blood spilling from arrow-riddled torsos. Their line still held. "Draka Braka!" Jukjor cursed. The humans refused to give way despite the fangs clamping down around them like a particularly chewy piece of swine. The prophet leapt and slammed his hands together with a thunderous crack. Instantly his circling boarboys wheeled and plunged into the flanks of the human square, like twin horns sinking into the flesh. Bodies flew as the snorting beasts slammed home, and the bluecoats' stern defense crumbled to pieces. "Gorkabrog," said Jukjor, satisfied. The Gigadroth had its prey by the throat, and there was no escape. Their line still held.